Waiting to get 1 out of the 10. 2 weeks to go. We'll get there.
Can we do a quick interview?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure you can. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm Phil.
Nice
to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Has anybody told you who you look like?
No, I've never heard.
Yeah, I bet you have. All right. Never mind. Never mind. But I.
She was
Okay.
the star of Halloween.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. How do you think the debate went?
I think very well. Look, I mean, this is about specifics and issues. I didn't hear a single bill. I heard a lot of complaining, but I didn't hear a single proposal put forth by Mr. Schilling about what he would do. Look, we are in a recession. Really? The American people didn't know that already. A lot of the things that he's talking about, like he says he supports the clinic. I have to tell you, the Veterans Clinic and the one in Macoupin, we wouldn't have those clinics if it was Congressman Schilling, because he doesn't support those types of funding initiatives. He's made that very clear. He talks about the Employee Free Choice Act not having the secret ballot. It has it in the law. He wants to read every page of every bill. He ought to read that one because it calls for a secret ballot if the employees want it. So it's hard to run against a ghost. But people know, as I said in my conclusion, they know who I am. They know what I'm about. They know where I come from. They don't always have to agree, but at least I talked about, like on veterans issues, I mentioned very specific things that we've been doing and things that I want to do. I think that's what people want to hear about. They want to, you know, spend an afternoon or luncheon, you know, hitting on you. That's okay. I've been, you know, I'm used to that from this side. But at the end of the day, what are you going to do for ordinary people to help make their lives better? What are you going to do for veterans? How are you going to reduce the debt? I mean, how are you going to change this economy? What do you think of the Disclose Act? You know, I think it's unconscionable that he won't call this group and pull the ad down, not because of the content of the ad, but by the people that are paying for it. That's not what we're about. Look, I don't care. Just list the names. So it's a little frustrating, but I think this is going to, you know, work its way out on November the 2nd. We think we're going to win this thing. We have a tremendous ground game. But everybody knows, most people know me. They know who I am and what I stand for. And a lot of times, sometimes, and in this district, you know, Lane used to say, and I'm stealing this line from my former boss, it's a wonderful district with wonderful people. And not only will they tell you what to do, but they'll tell you where to go sometimes. And that's all right too, because again, that's what we're about as a country. But at least say what you're for. Specifics. I mean, specifics are important to people when they go into the polls. They want to know. And so I think, you know, I think it was fine. I had an enjoyable time. I think Roger's a good guy. You know, Roger gave more specifics today than Schilling did. And I think, again, here we go with, you know, a guy that's working very hard, but at least he's willing to stand up and say, I disagree with some of the, like the flat tax, but it was a proposal. So I'm just a little bit perplexed, but I'm okay. It's good for him.
But towards the end there, you were kind of talking about how you're an ordinary man, and I know that that's something that seems to matter to voters right now because they're sick of career politicians.
Right.
Do you feel like that may be a problem in this election, the fact that you are the incumbent?
I think it could be, but I think people know me as Phil. And they know me, and I talk about my background. It's not easy talking about my sister losing her eye and my dad losing the home and our family going through a lot of troubled times, but it makes me who I am. I don't bring that up to score a point. I bring it up to say, this is where I came from. It's what I'm about. I go to that chamber, and I sit outside with a cup of coffee. I know this is going to sound a little hokey, and I don't mean it to be, but here's a guy with less than 2 years of community college, and I get to go into that chamber, and my vote matters just as much as anybody else's vote. That's what's great about this nation. I am an ordinary person. I don't need all the trappings of that stuff. I'm Phil to everybody, and if people feel they have to call me congressman, I don't get mad at them. But I think being an incumbent in this climate doesn't help. But I think at the end of the day, people want to know, who are you? What do you believe in? What are you for? What do you stand for? And then go. I mean, anybody can just. There's an old adage, I think I used it when I talked to Bernie, that any old jackass can kick down a barn. It takes a carpenter to build one. So, you know.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I think we're going to do. I think we're going to do well. I mean, our